Listen carefully. There are moments in life when the air feels different, when silence carries a weight, and even ordinary days seem to press more deeply into the soul. The third week of August is such a time, not because of numbers, not because of superstition, but because something in the rhythm of life itself is shifting. For those who are awake, this shift feels like a doorway opening. For those who are not, it may pass unnoticed. This week is not about fate written in the stars. It is about the choices that stand in front of you, sharper and clearer than before. You will find yourself asked to decide, do you remain where you are, or do you step forward into who you are meant to become? That is the true pivot. Not external drama, but the clarity of your own awareness demanding an answer. Many overlook this subtle pull, yet history whispers of such turning points. Ancient Shaolin masters spoke of heavenly timing, not a cosmic calendar, but rare moments when the body, the mind, and the spirit are forced to realign. Those who miss it feel restless without knowing why. Those who listen find the strength they didn't realize was waiting inside them. In this teaching, I will share why this week matters for the chosen ones, how to meet it with stillness, and how your smallest choices now can ripple far beyond what you see. If you stay with me until the end, you will understand how to meet this shift not with fear, but with mastery. Welcome to Shaolin Soulfire. My name is Shi Heng Yi. If these words resonate with you, join our path of inner strength and wisdom by subscribing so you never miss the lessons that guard and guide your spirit. There is a silence deeper than the absence of sound. It is the silence where the mind stops running, where thoughts lose their grip, and the heart begins to see clearly. In Shaolin, we call this Ji, Sin, stillness. Many mistake stillness for doing nothing, for retreating from life. But stillness is not weakness, nor is it sleep. It is the most alert state you can enter. When the body is calm and the breath steady, the mind clears. You begin to see what is real and what is only noise. Think of a lake. When the surface is disturbed, it reflects nothing but distortion. But when the water rests, it mirrors the sky with perfect clarity. Your mind is no different. In stillness, you reflect truth. There was a time in my training when I faced a choice that felt impossible. My thoughts argued, my emotions pushed me, and the weight of expectation clouded every path. My master told me, do not move until the water settles. I sat in silence for days, breathing, waiting. At first I felt trapped in emptiness. But then, like clouds parting, the answer became simple, even obvious. Stillness had shown me the way. This is why stillness is a compass. In moments of change, when everything feels uncertain, the restless mind makes you chase shadows. But if you return to Ji, you stop chasing. You let the right path reveal itself. Action that comes from stillness is precise, clean, and free of regret. It is not reaction. It is clarity moving through you. This is the strength of Shaolin, not in endless motion, but in the discipline to be unmoved until the right step becomes undeniable. Awareness is the beginning of all mastery. Not awareness as an exercise, not as something you switch on and off, but as the raw act of being fully here. When you are present, you start to notice how the mind moves, how thoughts circle back, how emotions rise and fall like waves. What once felt random begins to reveal patterns, and once you see the pattern, you are no longer trapped by it. In the old Shaolin halls, monks trained not only with fists and forms, but with silence. They would walk the same stone paths each morning, carrying water or sweeping leaves. The task was simple, yet the training was profound, because they were told to notice everything: the sound of the broom on stone, the way the water shifted with each step, even the stirring of their own impatience. Nothing was dismissed. Everything was included. Through such practice, awareness deepened. They discovered that the enemy was not the task, but the distraction inside. The mind that wanted to be somewhere else, the heart that longed for ease, the fear that whispered, "This is pointless." To face these voices without turning away, that is mindfulness. When you live in this state, strength no longer comes only from muscle or will, it comes from seeing clearly. You recognize the moment anger starts to rise, and instead of being carried by it, you watch it dissolve. You notice fear arrive, and instead of hiding, you study its face. This presence becomes your shield and your sword. Mindfulness is not a technique to be applied. It is life itself, lived with open eyes. And once awareness becomes your constant companion, discipline feels less like effort and more like freedom. Breath is the first teacher and the last companion. From the moment you enter this world until the moment you leave, it never abandons you. Yet most pass through life without truly meeting it. In Shaolin, the breath is not just air moving in and out. It is the bridge between body and mind, between chaos and clarity. Monks train for hours, not only in movement, but in stillness, listening to the breath, guiding it, shaping it like a master craftsman. A strike without breath is hollow. A posture without breath collapses. But when breath and body align, every movement gains power, and every silence gains depth. There is a story of a young disciple who grew impatient during meditation. He complained that his mind wandered endlessly, that he could not sit in peace. The master told him, "Follow one river." The disciple was confused until the master placed his hand on the boy's chest and said, "Your breath is that river. Do not chase thoughts. Follow the flow." From that day forward, the boy anchored himself in the rise and fall of breathing, and slowly the storms within began to settle. Breath is rhythm. Inhale, exhale, expansion and release. When the world feels uncertain, when change rises like a tide, the breath is a rope you can hold. Each inhale gathers strength. Each exhale lets go of fear. In this rhythm, the body obeys the mind, and the mind bows to the breath. Discipline begins here, not with great battles, but with one conscious breath after another. In this way, the simplest act becomes the deepest practice. And when change comes, it is your breath that will keep you steady, rooted, unshaken. When the ground beneath you trembles, the first instinct is to cling to something, to grasp at certainty. But Shaolin teaches another way. Stand calm, even when everything around you is in motion. This calmness is not ignorance of danger, nor blind optimism. It is discipline, the trained ability to remain steady in the face of the unknown. There is a saying within the temple: the mountain does not chase the storm. The storm comes, the storm goes, but the mountain remains. In the same way, when life changes suddenly, when plans collapse, when relationships shift, when the future darkens, the untrained mind reacts with fear, rushing to control what cannot be controlled. But the disciplined mind learns to pause, to wait, to breathe. That pause is the difference between being swept away and standing rooted. A story is told of a monk who lost everything in a fire: his room, his robes, even his scriptures. The younger disciples expected him to break down, to grieve over all that was gone. Instead, they found him sweeping ashes the next morning, calm and unshaken. When asked how he could be so still, he replied, "The fire has already burned. Why should I burn with it?" His calm was not born of denial. It was mastery, a refusal to let circumstances dictate the state of his spirit. This is the discipline needed when change comes fast. Calmness is not passivity. It is strength held in reserve. It is the ability to act with clarity rather than panic. True mastery is revealed not in the easy moments, but in the storms, when you choose stillness over fear, patience over haste, clarity over chaos. This is how the unknown becomes your teacher instead of your enemy. There are moments when life seems to place a stone in your path, not to stop you but to see how you step over it. True mastery never reveals itself in comfort. It appears only when you are tested. A test does not come to destroy. It comes to uncover what is already inside you. The third week of August carries this weight. For some, it may arrive as conflict, for others as sudden change, or even a quiet inner restlessness that refuses to be ignored. However it appears, the test is not punishment. It is a mirror held up to show you your own reflection. In the reflection, you may see impatience, fear, or doubt. But if you look longer, you may also see strength waiting to rise. In Shaolin teaching, trials are considered hidden allies. A disciple who never meets hardship never learns the depth of his own spirit. One story tells of a student who trained tirelessly in forms, flawless in practice. Yet when his master struck him without warning, the student froze. Technique was there, but mastery was not. The master explained, "You polish your form, but it is challenge that polishes you. Only in pressure does skill transform into strength." So when the test arrives, see it for what it is. A mirror, not a verdict. It reflects your current state, giving you a chance to learn, to sharpen, to deepen. If you meet it with awareness, even pain becomes instruction, even loss becomes a guide. The true question is not whether you will be tested, it is whether you will see the lesson within the test. This is where mastery is revealed, not in avoiding trials, but in using them to rise higher than before. To grow is to let something die. This truth is simple, but it is rarely easy. Old habits, old patterns, even old identities cling tightly, whispering comfort and safety. Yet in Shaolin training, every new form begins with the letting go of the old. The body cannot master a new movement if it still clings to the memory of the previous one. The mind is no different. A young disciple once asked why the master made him practice empty stances for months before teaching him any techniques. The master replied, "If your vessel is already full, how can it receive fresh water?" The boy struggled with frustration, but only when he released the desire to prove himself did he begin to move with freedom. By shedding the weight of pride and expectation, he became ready for what was next. This week may bring the same demand from life itself. You may feel stripped of familiar roles, exposed without the facades that once protected you. It may feel like loss, but in truth it is space being created. Old habits must fall away so that discipline, clarity, and strength can take their place. The mask you once wore cannot breathe life into the person you are becoming. In Shaolin wisdom, this release is not destruction, it is transformation. Just as the tree sheds its leaves so new growth can emerge, you too must release the patterns that no longer serve your spirit. Clinging keeps you heavy, letting go makes you light. To become more, you must be willing to die to what you were yesterday. This is the hidden path of mastery, the courage to empty yourself so that the next form of your life can fully take shape. The untrained mind reacts like a spark to dry grass, quick, uncontrolled, and consuming. Reacting is easy. It requires no discipline, no awareness. But Shaolin teaching reminds us that mastery begins not with reaction, but with response. A response is deliberate. It rises from clarity, not impulse. During training, a master would sometimes strike a disciple unexpectedly, not to harm him, but to reveal his state of mind. Some flinched, some lashed out, some froze. The master explained, "Your body reacts before your spirit decides. Until you can choose your response, you remain a servant to fear." With time, the disciple learned to pause, to feel the strike without anger, and to respond with calm movement. That pause was the seed of mastery. Life brings its own strikes, harsh words, sudden losses, unexpected turns. In those moments, reacting feels natural. But each reaction adds fuel to the fire. Responding, however, cools the flame. Responding does not mean doing more. Often it means doing less, but with intention. It is aligning your action with the quiet voice of inner clarity. Think of water flowing through stone. It does not rush blindly, yet over time it carves valleys and shapes mountains. Small, steady steps taken with presence carry more power than endless bursts of reactive motion. The strength is not in force, it is in direction. When you move from presence, even your smallest gestures carry weight. A word spoken without anger can dissolve conflict. A choice made without haste can shift the course of your path. This is what personal mastery looks like. Not the frenzy of endless doing, but the calm precision of clarity in motion. From that state, mountains do not intimidate you. They bow to your patience. Strength is often mistaken for hardness alone. The clenched fist, the unbending will, the refusal to yield. Yet Shaolin wisdom teaches that true strength is incomplete without softness. The warrior who cannot bend will eventually break. The one who knows compassion carries a strength that does not shatter. In the temple, young disciples are trained not only in combat, but in service. Between rigorous hours of forms and endurance, they are sent to care for the elders, to sweep the grounds, to tend to the sick. Many wonder why a path of warriors includes such gentle duties. The answer is simple: power without compassion is dangerous. To be strong is to protect, not to dominate. There is a story of a monk who was challenged by a traveler eager to test his skill. Instead of striking, the monk offered the man food and rest. Confused, the traveler asked why he had not fought. The monk replied, "If I defeat your body but not your hunger, I win nothing. If I ease your suffering, I have already won." The lesson was clear. Compassion is not weakness. It is mastery in motion. In times of upheaval, the world demands this balance. Hardship can tempt you to grow rigid, to close yourself off. But compassion toward yourself and toward others keeps you grounded. It softens the edges of pain so clarity can remain. Even discipline without compassion becomes cruelty. To extend compassion is to stand firmly in your strength while keeping your heart open. It means forgiving yourself when you falter and offering patience when others stumble. This blend of power and softness is not only survival, it is wisdom. In this balance lies the essence of mastery, strength that protects and compassion that heals. A warning can stir fear, but fear alone does not transform. In Shaolin wisdom, a warning is never the end, it is an invitation. Life does not simply say, "Beware," it whispers, "Awaken." The difference lies in how you choose to meet the moment. Change often arrives like a guest at your door, uninvited and impatient. You can resist, bolt the door and tremble inside, or you can open it with calm, aware that the visitor carries lessons in its hands. When you meet change with awareness, you stop being dragged by it. You begin to walk beside it. Breath becomes your anchor here. Each inhale gathers presence, each exhale releases fear. In the midst of uncertainty, this rhythm reminds you that you are still here, still steady, still capable of clarity. Discipline adds the structure, holding you to your path, even when distraction or doubt tries to pull you away. Compassion for yourself and for others ensures that the journey remains human, not cold or rigid. A master once said, "The storm cannot be controlled, but the boat can be steered." Awareness, breath, discipline, and compassion are the oars in your hands. With them, you do more than survive the tide. You direct your course through it. This is why this moment matters. It is not only a test of endurance, but an unveiling. If you meet it with presence and practice, you will not emerge as the same person who entered. You will step closer to the self that already lives within you, the one who walks with steadiness, clarity, and quiet strength. This is the invitation hidden within the warning, to live now as the master you were meant to become. The third